Hello, Henrietta. Great to be here. Let me start with some introductions. Senator Joe Robach, Big Joe. Town of Henrietta Supervisor Jack Moore. Paycheck CEO Martin Mucci. Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce President Bob Duffy. Finger Lakes Regional Economic Development Council Co-Chair Ann Kress. Rochester Building and Construction Trades Council President Dave Young. And Monroe County Clerk Adam Bello. Well, it's great to be with all of you, and special thanks and shout out to the Paychex employees. This is a great company, but more importantly, you're a great group of people, and the company's had a lot of confidence in all of you. Give yourselves a hand. We are here to let you in on an exciting announcement. I'm sure it is a total surprise to each and every one of you without exception, but it's a big deal, and it's a great deal for Monroe County and for the whole region. First, let me tell you a little bit about Paychex and what it has in store for the place it has called home for 50 years. Founded in 1971 in Rochester, this company has grown to include nearly 14,000 employees company-wide, and approximately 4,400 of them are here in Monroe County. Paychex services, get this, more than 600,000 SMEs, small and medium enterprises, across 100 locations across the entire country. Provides human capital management, solutions for payroll, HR, retirement, and insurance services. The company, as you may know, has been considering an expansion. We are here to tell you that Paychex has chosen to expand right here in Henrietta. And we go on. And we are very proud that this expansion was made possible in part by the state of New York and the fact that your governor loves Henrietta. To encourage Paychex to continue to grow here, the state is providing up to $11.5 million in Excelsior tax credits, and up to $2.5 million will come from the Finger Lakes Forward Upstate Revitalization Grant. Paychex itself, importantly, will invest a total of $58.4 million in this exciting project. The company plans to acquire 5 parcels of property and renovate more than 300,000 square feet of existing space. This expansion project will create 625 new full-time jobs in this region over the next 5 years. That is real. That is a real number. I've been doing this job for 2.5 years, and 625 jobs makes a big impact on the economy. And we talk about, and the governor has, as central to his strategy, investment in tradable sectors of the economy. You're a perfect example. You provide services all over the country and employment right here. That is the ideal and the perfect example of a wealth-creating business for this region. So we want to thank you. Under the governor's leadership, we have invested more in the Finger Lakes during the last 6 years than this region has seen literally in decades. And as you can see, it is paying big dividends. Through the efforts of the Finger Lakes Regional Council, the region has established itself as a growing hub for optics, for photonics, for imaging, for food processing, for agritourism, for big data, and for wine, and then wine, and finally beer. Today, unemployment is down while private sector jobs are up, up, and up, and the Finger Lakes region is most definitely moving forward. We look forward to a long and successful relationship with Paychex and are so grateful for their expansion here in Henrietta. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the President and CEO of Paychex, Marty Musi.
Thank you, Howard. It's a great day for Paychex and for Rochester, Monroe, Henrietta. I want to welcome Governor Cuomo and our elected officials and invited guests, and of course, some of our proud Paychex employees. Thank you for coming out today for this important announcement. Usually we only get that excited about food at Paychex. It must be something waiting in the wings. Today's exciting announcement is about one thing: Paychex growing. That's what's really exciting to us. The 625 jobs that we'll be adding over the next 5 years are the result of continued growth and investment we're making in our HR outsourcing solutions. And the campus we're creating, including the building that you're in today, is in support of the growth of providing HR and payroll that we've been doing for 46 years. The investment by the Empire State Development and New York State is an important factor in our plans for this project. The governor and his team made it clear that they were committed to this project, committed to supporting Paychex to create these jobs here in Rochester, in Henrietta, in Monroe County. We're grateful for the support, which helps us ensure that we expand our workforce here and give more talented people a chance to be part of the great Paychex success story. We're also grateful for the support of Monroe County and the county executive, Cheryl D'Onofo, who we hoped would be here today. We know that Paychex is an important part of the economic engine of this community. To give you a sense of what I mean, we're committed to hiring 125 people in just this first year of our 5-year project. In compensation alone, that will be over $7 million that goes toward the economy in this area. We're very excited about that. Rochester has been our home. It's where it started when Tom Golisano in 1971 and a few $1,000s had a goal to serve 300 or 400 clients. As Howard mentioned, today we serve over 600,000 clients across the country and in Germany. Over the past 46 years, Paychex has grown from a payroll services company to a leading provider of human capital management solutions for small and mid-sized businesses, with annual revenue of over $3 billion and a market cap of over $20 billion. That's pretty amazing growth, and it's the result of employees like those here today who are supporting our clients day in and day out with a great dedication and commitment. We're excited about today's announcement and about what the future holds for Paychex. Paychex is Rochester proud and growing. Thank you again for joining us here today on this important day, and please join me now in welcoming the Governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. It's my pleasure to be back in Rochester and not on the shoreline of Lake Ontario, which is where I have been the past few times. But it's a pleasure to be here, and this really is a great, great day. Congratulations to Paychecks. Mr. Mucci, congratulations to you. This is just more growth, more economic opportunity for more people. So once again, let's give the Paychecks employees a round of applause because you made it happen. My colleague from Albany is here, Senator Joe Roback. Pleasure to be with Senator Joe. Give him a round of applause. Howard Zemsky, the economic development guru for the state of New York, who's doing a great job. Let's give him a round of applause. And Bob Duffy, who you know is the former mayor of Rochester, I know as my friend and great lieutenant governor in my first administration, Bob Duffy. Let's give him a round of applause. A few years ago, this story with Paychecks may very well have turned out differently. Company in upstate New York has an opportunity to go anywhere because states are pitching our businesses all day long. They can move. They have locations all over the place. And a few years ago, the story would usually end with the company leaving and the company taking jobs. That was the story of upstate New York for the past 40 years. Bob Duffy was mayor of Rochester. I was attorney general. And we used to sit and commiserate when he was mayor. And he would say, you know, there's nothing I can do. It's nothing I can do as mayor of Rochester to make a difference. State taxes are too high. State is anti-business. And the state doesn't give a darn about upstate New York. Mayor Duffy would say, I go to Albany, I walk up and down the hall, I knock on the doors. Most of them couldn't find Rochester on a map. And then he has to hear the complaints about high taxes, etc. I go to run as governor, and I came to Bob Duffy and I said, I'd love you to run with me as lieutenant governor. He said, why would I ever do that? Last place I want to go is Albany. I said, yeah, but you have been telling me for the past 4 years that you can't solve Rochester's problems from Rochester because they're state created. So the only way you can help Rochester is by going to Albany. And he thought about it for a while, and he said, I'll do it as long as we're committed to what we said, which is the administration that does more for upstate New York than any administration in history. I said, that is exactly what we are going to do. And that is exactly what we've done. First problem was state taxes. You keep raising taxes. Mr. Mucci is smart. Tom Golisano is smart. They'll find a place that has lower taxes. You're deaf to business. You don't hear their concerns. You overregulate them. They can pick up and they can go. It's not like the old days where you had factories, where you had them by the foundation, literally. They couldn't pick up the factory. Mr. Mucci, you can all pick up your laptop and move to the Carolinas. So the state had to understand that. The state also had to understand the plight of upstate New York. You know, the state legislature basically runs the state government, right, with the governor, et cetera. State legislature is predominantly from New York City. So their interest, their knowledge is all downstate. And you had decades of upstate New York hemorrhaging, and Bob Duffy was right. Most of them couldn't find Rochester on a map because they were all from downstate. That we turned 180 degrees. We reduced state spending to the lowest increases in history. Our budget year to year only went up 2%. That has never happened before in the history of the state of New York. Democratic governor, Republican governor, short governor, tall governor, I don't care. Nobody had lower spending increases than we did. When you bring down spending, you can bring down taxes. We cut the corporate tax rate to the lowest rate since 1968, middle class rate to the lowest rate since 1947, up to $300,000. And we capped property taxes, which are the real killer. So when you cut taxes, then you actually have the resources to now start to attract business and reach out to them. And we've done that very aggressively. We have invested in upstate New York $25 billion, more money than ever invested in upstate New York before, which is exactly the promise I made to Bob Duffy when we started. And the way we did it was also different. We didn't sit there in Albany and say, I'll tell you what you should do, Rochester. We said to Rochester, we have no idea what you should do. Put the businessmen together with the academic leaders and the politicians and figure out a business plan for Rochester, and then we will fund that plan. And that's the Finger Lakes Forward Plan. And if you have a business that's interested in growing, let us know right away. If you have a business that you think might be a little unhappy and is looking somewhere else, let us know right away. And that brings us back to today, which is paychecks, which could have gone anywhere in this country, anywhere on the globe, decided to stay right here in Rochester. Number one, I believe, because the irreplaceable commodity is the workforce, and no other state can offer you, and that's why they stayed. And we have the best workforce and the most talent in the United States of America right here in upstate New York. And number two, because we reached out and we said, you know what, we want to be your partner. You want to grow right here in New York. We'll work with you. We'll invest with you. Almost a $60 million project. We'll invest with you $14 million through the Excelsior program because we want to partner with business in a way we never have before. Jobs are coming back to upstate New York. The arrows are pointed in the right direction. This state today has more private sector jobs than ever before in the history of the state of New York. Unemployment is down. Unemployment is down all across the state. Unemployment is down in upstate New York. When Bob Duffy first went to Albany, unemployment was about 8% in the Finger Lakes. Today, unemployment is about 4% and change. So we're making progress, but today is a great, great step forward, and in many ways epitomizes everything we've been working towards. A strong private sector that continues to grow, that grows in New York in partnership with New York State. Congratulations to all of you. Well done, Mr. Mussi. My regards to Tom Golisano, and God bless you, and congratulations, people of Paychecks.
Very briefly, thanks to the governor, thanks to the President Mussi, thank you all for coming, thanks for Paychecks and all the great work you do. Looking forward to working with you all in the years ahead. Thank you very much.